Hey all, Kate here from the Emerald Minecart, and recently AQ Studio, the channel behind the Ventide Media Center and Midwest Joka, have made a whole new project. Now when I found out that Aiden was making a new series, I saw it would be a continuation of Codex Aquazone due to how the short ended. But after recently finding out that Codex Aquazone was put on hold, it was then when I realized that this new series by AQ Studio would be an actual series. In fact, the series is so new, I am literally writing the script for this video on the day that the first episode is released. So, Home Guards, time to get into this brand new series and see what it holds. On May 18th, 2026, the trailer for this brand new series, Hydra Theory, would be released. Now, usually videos in an analog horror series will have something in the description that will give the viewer any information, but this time there isn't anything to go off of. Just a link to the first episode and the website link that I will touch upon later. But what I will touch upon right now is the thumbnail. As you can see, the thumbnail depicts tornadoes. This is something that is brought up in the comment section of episode 1, but tornadoes aren't really seen that much in horror. And while yes, I personally don't live in an area where tornadoes ever happen, I do briefly remember that a small tornado happened when I was still new in Tennessee. I am also very aware of the fact that tornadoes are obviously very dangerous and can cause a lot of damage. So to see a horror series that has tornadoes as the main threat is pretty cool. And yeah, I know people are going to say, "But Kate, what about the movie duology Twister?" Well, that's an action-adventure movie duology with scenes that can be considered scary. Anyways, time to get into the trailer. The trailer starts off with an AQ Studio Productions logo reminding everyone who is making the series. This is followed by footage of someone driving down the road in Oklahoma, which is then followed by footage of someone typing on the computer and the voice telling the viewer about having internet and how fast it is. As the voice goes on, footage of tornadoes and where stuff related to tornadoes can be seen. All of this is followed by a link for a website called HydraTheory.net and the video ends. Now obviously I already brought up how this series' main threat is tornadoes, and after watching the trailer you may think that this will just be a small series where footage of tornadoes are shown. Well, as someone who has already watched episode 1, I can tell you that that is not the case. But before I continue on, I just want to share a little issue I have with AQ Studio. It's nothing major, but it's the fact that there is once again a new channel made for this series. Personally, I believe that all of this stuff should just be posted on AQ Studio and should not be posted to a different channel. But hey, that's just my personal opinion. On the same day that the trailer dropped, episode 1 of Hydra Theory 2005 Twin Tornado Incident, Tornado Analog Horror, would be uploaded. Now usually I would wait for a new series to have a few episodes out before I talk about it, but due to the fact that I am very interested in the series due to what the main threat seems to be, I have decided to cover the first episode. The episode starts with text on the screen telling the viewer that it's May 6, 2005 at 5:33 p.m. So right away there is a date that can be pinpointed as the start of the series. The viewer is also told that it takes place in Norman, Oklahoma, which after doing some research, is a place that is in the center/heart of Tornado Alley. So to anyone who lives there, I am sorry for your position. This is then followed by footage of the outside of the home where there are heavy winds going on. This is followed by a camera glitch, and the footage then changes to the POV of the camera looking outside of a window that is a window of the house seen earlier. A storm can be seen outside of the window as an emergency alarm plays, and it's followed up with a man yelling, "Leave now," a couple of seconds later, which is then followed by the sound of an emergency issue that a tornado is coming. This issue gets cut off as the screen becomes black, followed by cutting to the person holding the camera making her way to a different room. The person eventually makes it out of the house as tornado sirens can be heard. Now obviously, you do not want to go outside of your house when a tornado is going on. The only reason you would ever consider doing this is if the way you access your bunker is by going outside. Anyways, this is followed by footage of the camera looking down at the ground for a bit, followed by looking back up to see a large tornado in the distance. This is followed by footage of the camera holder back inside and running down the stairs going into the basement. The footage shows the lights flickering and cutting off for a bit. Usually stuff like this will cause electronics, lights specifically, to start acting up. Then loud wind sounds can be heard as it seems that the tornado broke through the house including the basement, but then this is followed by what looks like footage of someone going through a wormhole of sorts. Odd. After this, the screen turns blue, then black as new text appear on screen. Between May 3rd and May 8th, 2005, 28 tornado incidents were reported across Oklahoma, ranging from F1s to F4s. And once again, doing some research, I've learned that F1s have a wind speed of 86 through 110, while F4s have a wind speed of 166 through 200. And considering what was seen, an F4 tornado was behind the destruction of the house and basement the camera holder was in. This followed with more text informing the viewer that over 70 lives were lost and that the injuries numbered in the hundreds. This thing gets followed up with text referring to this incident as the 2005 glowing tornado outbreak. Now, you may be wondering why it's called the glowing tornado outbreak. Well, you will just have to wait and see. Anyways, this is followed up with more text informing the viewer that this was filmed by a man named Hunter Graves in the year 2005. So now the series has a main character, a man named Hunter Graves, who seems to be the man behind HydraTheory.net. This gets followed with an early YouTuber intro for HydraTheory.net. This intro then gets followed with a classic Windows Movie Maker background with white text. The text explained that this is from Hunter Graves and that the footage that was just seen from an anonymous source from Norman. This is followed with information that the anonymous person was struck on the head by an F4 tornado, with no news if the person recording survived. But thankfully it is stated that the family did survive, which was known since in the footage you hear someone yelling "leave now." The footage then cuts to a weather map that shows the weather patterns with an unregistered Hypercam 2 logo in the top right corner and the website name in the bottom right side that is near the corner. This is followed with text that explained that this tornado that struck the anonymous source was the worst one out of the 28 tornadoes that struck Oklahoma between May 3rd and May 6th. Which, yeah, that's right, 28 tornadoes between 3 days. Now that is friggin' insane, and now I understand even less why people actively want to live in a tornado alley. Anyways, the viewer is then shown a map where I believe it's showing where tornadoes happened, ranging from not too bad to "oh dear fuck, my house is gone." This gets followed up with text that explains that eyewitnesses described the storms to be unusually violent, with some eyewitnesses reporting seeing green lights in the tornadoes. Now, just by hearing that, you might start to think that and realize that maybe, just maybe, these are not just any regular tornadoes. This is followed with text explaining that a green glow can be seen clearly in footage. This is followed by a continuation of the footage where I realized that it wasn't a wormhole the camera holder was going through. It was a tornado. And yes, a green glow can be seen. With all this information, Hunter comes to the reasonable conclusion that some weird shit is going on. Which, yeah, if I lived in an area with tornadoes and the tornadoes started to glow, I too would move my thick fox ass out of said area. The video then shows a picture of a tornado with a green light. Either this is the result of Noob Saibot fusing with the Solnado he was kicked into in MK9, or this is Ben 10's newest alien form from that new Ben 10 comic series. This is followed by Hunter explaining that he used some basic weather software at the university he goes to and managed to create a rough simulation of the conditions during the outbreak. The video then shows the simulation, followed with Hunter explaining that the conditions are impossible without an X factor. This is followed by Hunter explaining that he will need more data and that he is calling this anomaly the phenomenon. Personally, I would have called it the alien tornado or the emerald eye because green. The video then shows another simulation and yeah. Alright, look, obviously I never took classes for stuff like this and you can definitely tell that all of this is simply flying over my head. For now, that's my one con of the series. All of these simulations and math stuff that simpletons like me can barely understand. Anyways, this gets followed by Hunter talking about how the storms are just heads of snakes and the phenomenon being the root of it. This leads to Hunter naming his theory Hydra Theory.
He said it! He said it!
After this, Hunter explains that things will get worse if he and his viewers can't uncover what's behind all this. And because this is an analog horror series, I think you know very well that things will get worse. Much worse. The screen cuts to black, then pops up some new text that explains the footage that is going to be shown was recorded on May 8, 2005, taking place in Sterling, Oklahoma, with this footage being referred to as the Twin Tornado Incident. The footage then shows Hunter driving down the road, followed by text appearing on screen informing the viewer that Hunter is going down Sterling, Oklahoma to storm chase a storm system from the northwest. This is followed with the continuation of the driving footage with a weather map being on the top left corner. This is followed up with Hunter explaining that he has cameras set up to capture video of the storm system, explaining that it will help him get the data to better understand the situation. Which, personally for me, I would need no data to understand the situation. The only thing I would understand is that I would need to move out of the tornado-infested areas as fast as physically possible. Anyways, Hunter arrives at his destination and gets a good look at the area he is in. Text appear on screen explaining that a tornado warning is aired on local radio at 6:21 p.m., which is then followed by footage of more driving as the tornado warning is heard. Now, something I want to say before I continue on is the fact that the video footage of the outdoors is actually kind of beautiful. Sure, it isn't being recorded on the newer, high-quality camera, but personally the old look gives the footage charm. This is followed with text explaining that at 6:30 p.m. there were reports of hail and the formation and rotation of a supercell, which, once again doing research, it's a common tornado. The video then shows footage of this storm forming, and I just want to say that this is the darkest cloud that I've ever seen in my life. Also in this footage, Hunter speaks for the first time, reasonably saying, "Oh shit." This is followed by footage with this absolutely beautiful shot that will be seen as a pic in this video as a tornado forms. This is followed by Hunter explaining that he started moving up the North NE 19th Street, looking at funnel formation moving south over the North Street. The video shows footage of Hunter driving down the road. The sky's looking a lot more friendlier than the cloud seen previously. Text appear explaining that heavy rotations was spotted around 6:42 p.m., with this obviously causing the tornado warning to be declared. More driving footage is shown as it gets paused, an arrow pointing at some clouds, with text explaining that it's a second rotation hidden behind a rain wall. Hunter then parks on NE 19th Street, looking at the funnel formation, which is then followed by footage of the Mandela Catalog? Am I talking about the right series? Jokes aside, this is followed with text appearing on screen explaining that the tornado touchdown happens at 6:51 p.m., with the tornado being highly photogenic and not rain-wrapped. Do I know what those mean? No. Am I going to pretend what they mean? Also no. This footage is followed by the exact same tornado seen in the thumbnail for the trailer forming, with Hunter saying, "Oh my god," which personally for me, I would be yelling, "Oh shit, oh fuck, oh god." But in this situation, I guess there are just some people who are more insane than me. This is followed by footage of the tornado and, okay look, I'm sorry, I need to nitpick here. It's obviously that this is photoshopped. Look, I'm not saying that Aiden should have actually gone out to film a dangerous tornado, but god, it's so obvious. But just because I say that does not mean I hate it. Besides, I can't do any better. But again, this is just a nitpick, nothing stopping me from enjoying this episode. After this, the video shows more of the tornado that formed, but then the footage is paused, popping up text that explains a very horrifying situation. At this exact moment, the secondary funnel touches down right behind me. Seeing that sentence pop up was the moment that made me go, "Oh shit." Footage is shown of the second tornado forming, along with Hunter running for his life. After this, footage is shown of a big black tornado that flashes a green orb. This is then followed by footage of the two tornadoes, both black and emitting a green glow to them. The two tornadoes get closer, then the footage cuts to a blue screen, followed by footage of the damage caused. After the footage, the screen turns black and we get text that explains that the twin tornado incident left 30 people with major injuries and 76 people with minor injuries. Personally, I just want to say it's insane that more people got minor injuries than major injuries in this situation, especially since, there were two bloody tornadoes active at once. It's explained that the first tornado to touchdown was an F3 tornado, while the second one was measured at F1. This is followed by a map of the two tornadoes, followed by text that explains that the cause of the green lights is unknown. The video ends with what I think is Hunter's copyright along with a website that shares the same name with the series. And actually, the website link is actually in the description of this video, which is actually why I didn't even touch upon the description first. So, time to get into the website itself. Hello, it's I, Kate the T Stream Productions, and we are at the Hydra Theory website. Now if you're curious, the shop button, it just goes to the AQ Studio store, so nothing too crazy, but yeah. Welcome to HydraTheory.net. In May of 2005, Oklahoma was struck with an unusually violent tornado outbreak. Eyewitnesses reported seeing glowing lights within the funnels of these tornadoes, sparking online discussion. Hunter Graves, a meteorology student from University of Oklahoma, analyzed the storm systems and came to the conclusion that an underlying force had influenced the outbreak in some way. This underlying anomaly would be called the phenomenon. The Hydra Theory, as theorized by Graves, states that the violent storm patterns are just heads of a larger snake, and that the body or the phenomenon is the real root cause. Graves began the Hydra Theory net shortly after the first outbreak, hoping to obtain more data on the phenomenon in an attempt to stop further tornado outbreaks. As of May 12th of 2005, all that is known about the phenomenon is that it is able to influence climate patterns, inducing unusually violent weather. Green lights are often accompanied by weather induced by the phenomenon, although much is still unknown. Graves is Graves is dedicated to uncovering the truth of the phenomenon, no matter the cost. So, just reading that last part, I feel like he might die near the end of the series. I don't know. And obviously, if you click on videos, it just takes you to the new channel that was created. Clicking on this doesn't really have anything. Actually, let me try something. Let me try something. Secret link. Okay, no secret link. Alright. So you may think that, oh, this is a new video, but actually it is. This video was originally posted by someone named Showman888. And this is the examples of the green lights, where it says it under here. So, let's check this out. Glowing tornado sightings, Oklahoma 2005. Alright, we've seen that one before. Oh, there's actually a snake in there! Okay. Alright. Interesting. Alright, so, okay, that was actually kind of cool. Okay, obviously the first picture we've already seen, but the second one, it's actually new. So that was actually really cool. I really like that. And again, as much as I'm going to harp, or as much as I've harped about, like, some of the tornado effects not looking that great, honestly, I will say, seeing the all-black tornadoes with, like, this green light in it, honestly really cool. So yeah, obviously there's not a whole lot to this website, but it does give us, like, a basic rundown. It also does kind of give me a theory that, not Jack, that, Hunter, like, possibly dies at the end of the series. I don't know. Because no matter the cost, like, Graves is dedicated to uncovering the truth of the phenomenon, no matter the cost. It's just, I don't know, it's kind of giving me the thought of, like, oh, he's going to die at the end of the series or something like that. But, yeah, that's the website. I'll have the website linked in the description of this video for anyone who wants to check it out. So, yeah, back to the main video. So now I have officially looked over everything that is out so far for Hydra Theory. Now before I share my thoughts and the theory, I'm going to go over my little timeline that I have formed based off of everything I have learned by watching the 2, technically 3 videos and looking at the website. Due to the fact that the series just came out, Obviously, this timeline is due to change, and that is perfectly okay. Anyways, May 3rd through May 6th, 28 tornadoes attack Oklahoma. May 4th through May 6th, the glowing tornado sightings. Then on May 8th for 2005, the twin tornado incident happened. And finally on May 12th, Hunter gains more information about the phenomenon. Well, yes, it isn't a lot, but like I mentioned, this series literally just started, and obviously there isn't going to be a whole lot of information at the start. Now my thoughts on the series. From everything I've seen, I am excited. You don't really see a lot of tornado-related horror stuff, so this series is pretty exciting. And while yes, there was one little nitpick of mine, I will say I absolutely love the IRL scenes. Some of them are quite pretty to look at. And finally, my theory. And that is the theory that Hunter dies at the end of the series. On the website, the last sentence says, Graves is dedicated to uncovering the truth of the phenomenon, no matter the cost. That sentence makes me believe that Hunter will die at the end of the series, or he will lose a lot as the series goes on. Again, I do not need to mention it, but obviously this series has just started. Anyways, what are your thoughts on this series? Does it look promising, or are you not interested in this series? Let me know in the comment section below because I enjoy the interactions. So, anyways, that was it for this video. Make sure you all subscribe and like for more, and I'll see you all later. Peace out, home guards, and goodbye! Hello! It is I, Kate of T3 Productions, and in this special video, or segment of the video, I have a special announcement. And what could that announcement be? That's right, I have brand new merchandise! Again! So, you're probably curious, Kate, what is this brand new merchandise that you have? Well, I have shirts, hoodies, stickers, a duffel bag, and button pins. Yeah, look how exciting that is. And I also have some epic mouse pads that will totally increase your gaming capability. Obviously, all this stuff was designed by me, yours truly, so, you know, because of that, there's a chance you might get bullied for wearing some of this merch. But that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. What matters is, all of this merch looks pretty freaking sick in my personal opinion because, you know, I designed it. So, yeah. So, go down in the link in the description where you can buy my heckin' eepin' oppin' epic merchandise.